I mean, if you accept nobody who works in a university's work, how do you use a cell phone?
Nixie, I'm saying that the documents are hidden behind a paywall.
What they need to clip. Yeah.
I'm saying they're hidden behind a paywall, meaning you can't access them as a.
There's multiple versions of it. It just depends. You're not Googling it from the U.S., so I don't know where you're getting it from.
The constellations of.
The Constellations of Ancient Egypt by Jose Lull and Juan Antonio Belmont, Belmonte.
Juan Antonio. Okay, so let's see. Jose Lull and Chapter 6, The Constellations of Ancient Egypt.
Yeah, that's one chapter in the document. Yep, there you go. Read all that.
I'm downloading the PDF. I'll read all that, but I tell you, Nixie, if after reading it, it says, 1 minute, we've got a little star chart here. 1 minute, let's zoom in. So they knew how to draw star charts, it looks like. Yeah?
Yes.
So therefore, why don't we have one with Thuban?
Yeah, you do. You got to read the whole document so you understand it. They don't draw a star and go Thuban.
Can you give us a summary of the document, Chaos?
What?
Can you give us a summary of the document?
Yeah, it explains how the Egyptian calendar worked, what position the constellations were in what time periods, and how they kept time using the constellations, which shows that Thuban used to line up with the Great Pyramid of Giza 4,000 years ago, and how it was documented.
Expansion of the stars, right? Or no?
What?
So they're different, right?
Because of precession.
Okay.
So it explains the precession of the Earth's axis.
Okay, so Nixie, what I'll say to you, to be professional here, is that currently you've provided supporting evidence for your theory, but no evidence to prove your fact.
No, I provided evidence that proves the theory, and it wasn't written by me. It was written by Egyptologists, not astronomers, and the document and those people did not work for NASA.
Okay, so just to highlight another factor about you believing in Egyptologists, have you watched the movie Stargate?
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Okay, when they go through the Stargate, when they go through the Stargate and their translator speaks to the Egyptians from thousands of years
ago, so you're making an assumption that I've seen Stargate, and you need to explain to me how that has a relation to the price of tea in China.
Okay, how it has a relation is that...
No, to the price of tea in China.
Okay, in order to know the colloquial language and sayings of Egypt of 6,000 years ago, you would have to have been an Egyptian. The only reason we know Egyptian hieroglyphs is because of the Ben stone and because of what you've said earlier, yeah? And
the Rosetta Stone unlocked us to be able to understand ancient Egyptian text.
Okay, but it's a subjective view from...
No, it's not a subjective view.
It is.
I love this.
No, anything that you disagree with becomes subjective. It's objectively true by everyone who studies ancient Egyptians that we can read their texts, and it makes sense because we know what they're talking about based off context.
Okay. All right. I just don't.
So if you don't want to believe it, that's okay. That's on you, not on science, not on Egyptology.
Nixie, if this document that you showed me had a star chart with Thuban as the North Star, I would have ended the conversation there and said,
it does show you that, but you're going to have to read the whole thing and understand how to read ancient Egyptian. Because I'm sorry, I'm not an ancient Egyptian, and I'm not going to get it wrong, but it does tell you in the document what Thuban is and where it exists and the importance of Thuban.
Okay, I will read it, but I can confirm for all the flat earthers out there right now, we've not received any evidence of this.
No, you received complete evidence. You're just ignoring it before you read it. You're disclaiming it before you've read it.
First,
Okay,
before
so-
you say anything, I think that would be the logical thing to do.
No. I'm not.
You are. You're saying I don't believe any of it, and even after I read it, it doesn't show me the unicorn I'm looking for.
But you haven't even read it yet, so how can you even say that?
Nixie, there could either be one of two outcomes or three outcomes of reading this document. One, I see a star chart, and in the center is a frog, and the Egyptian language converts the frog was the North Star. Yeah. Then we would say, how would we work out if the frog is Thuban or Polaris? How would we know the difference? So we would have to work that out.
You're right, and that's exactly what this document shows you, is how they rated the stars, how they documented what the stars were. And what's really interesting in this document is they also had names for the Andromeda Galaxy, the Pleiades, the Southern Pleiades. It wasn't just stars. These are some of the first star catalogs as well. And they were cataloging non-stellar objects, or a single star like Andromeda, or the Pleiades and the Southern Pleiades. We didn't give the Southern Pleiades a number catalog until like 200 years ago. William Herschel did it. So they were already documenting these things 4,000 years ago.
What I'm trying to say, Nixie, is if we can prove that Thuban was the North Star with clear evidence.
Well, you haven't read the document, so stop talking about something you haven't read, because you're claiming that it has no evidence until you've read it.
No, I'm not claiming that. I'm just trying to say that the challenge I set to you was...
Well, and I'm telling you, the document will explain the answer to you, but it's not as simple as saying point here, because I want you to understand what they did and how they did it, so you don't go, oh, well, that could be any star. You need to understand the whole thing so you can put 1, 2, and 3 together.
Okay, I understand that, Nixie, but I think you're missing one of the most obvious questions and answers from this situation. You know that Egyptians cross the Nile on a daily basis and probably cross the seas on a regular basis. Yeah?
So I can use this as evidence?
So therefore, they would have had to use star charts to navigate themselves. So we should have lots of clear demonstrable star charts from
How many star charts would they have needed to get across the Mediterranean? How many stars would they have needed to know?
The equatorial stars.
How many stars?
The 13 constellations.
No. How many stars would they have needed to know the position of?
Awesome.
Because the Egyptians have more than 13 constellations, and they're not the same as the constellations the Romans or the Greeks used.
Okay.
Every culture has a different definition of what the constellations are. Some include some of the same stars, some include completely different groupings of stars.
Okay, just 1 second. So I'm just going to bring up a picture, hopefully, if I can zoom in on it to show you.
So are you going to answer my question? How many stars would they have needed to know to be able to travel to Greece across the Mediterranean? How many stars?
Okay. 3.
Yeah, they wouldn't need many. Exactly. They wouldn't have needed many star charts at all.
Okay,
They wouldn't have needed, they probably wouldn't need more than 3, but they would have probably been able to get by with 20 known locations.
Okay. So Nixie, this is a modern adaptation of the Egyptian star chart, which shows the constellations of the circumpolar region in the center, and then it shows the equatorial ones around the side, which is easy to work out, and then deduce from that which is which. We've still got Scorpio here, we've still got Taurus the bull here, so therefore we should be able to quite easily find out which constellations refer to which. Would you agree?
And here's the same thing in the Egypt document that I sent you, which talks about where they were in the sky at certain times of the year using their calendar. So you can take this and the other pieces of information in this document and determine where Thuban must have been that is the proof. So you just gave yourself the proof that you need with the calendar, and this and all the evidence in that document will set you free, so you understand where Thuban must have been in the sky. There you go. You figured it out.
Well, I wouldn't quite say that. They could have called Thuban Polaris and Polaris Thuban. So it doesn't necessarily mean that. We need to demonstratively show that Thuban was...
That document does that. So once you're done reading it, then you'll know more.
Okay, that's fine, Nixie. I will research it, but for now, I'll say you have not provided the evidence.
That's fine, because you haven't read it. And you're already going it's not going to prove anything, which we all knew. So I'm not doing this for your sake. I'm doing it for the audience's sake, so they can understand the history of astronomy and how long people have been looking up, and that there are documents that exist from 4,000 years ago that show us what the night sky is and how the night sky has changed.
Nixie, I'm on a quest for truth. If it's the truth that you have passed me,
No, you're
I will
not.
provide the truth.
What do you mean? We were all glowing.
Before you poke any holes in the evidence that he is providing for
we were
you,
born
I
flat
think you
earthers.
just
What a
need to
fucking
read
weird
it.
notion.
I think it's really simple. Just read it first, and then you can poke your holes where you'd like to poke them. But until then, you really can't say anything.
Okay, the thing is, I've done this many times for your community, which is the Globies, and every time I've been able to disprove them.
No.
Right.
I mean,
So
it's a
after
great
you
move
read
of the
it,
burden
you
of
can come
proof.
back
Chaos, that's all you
and
did.
do your disproving then.
No, I gave you the burden of proof. So the simplest way, do any of you guys live somewhere there's a mountain?
No.
There's no mountains in the UK?
No, we've got a couple of small hills, which they class as
That'll
mountains.
work.
Yeah.
Get on a road, drive away from the hill, and as you're driving away from the hill will always disappear from the bottom up. And as you drive towards the hill, after it's disappeared over the magical horizon, it will always appear from the top up, but the top is further away than the bottom. That disproves a flat earth 100% of the time. It's that simple. I don't even have to tell you how much it curves. It doesn't matter, because you can zoom in with whatever telescope or camera you choose. You cannot pull in the base of the mountain. You can, and the top of the mountain is further away than the base. There's the simplest proof that the earth is not flat.
You want to see the Guinness World Record picture that disproves that theory?
No, it doesn't. Drive
Bullshit.
and show me a picture where you can zoom in, see the base of the mountain.
You can say nuh-uh, but...
No, show me. Not a world record of a length of a picture. Show me a video of driving towards a mountain where you see the base at the same time as the peak.
You can't see the base from 275 miles away?
I don't care the size or distance. I am simply asking you to show me a picture. This is a unicorn hunt. That you show me a video of a mountain appearing base at the same time as the peak as you're driving towards it.
Hey, you know, we
You
found
can't.
unicorns. They're called rhinosaurs.
That's your unicorn.
Rhinos.
Chaos. All the measurements from that photo have been put into the Earth curve calculator so many times by so many people, and what you see is legitimate for the curvature of the Earth.
Right, but if you're driving towards a mountain, why do they always appear peak first, and the base, which is closer to you, appears last?
Exactly. They just think because they can see an object a certain distance away. Aha! No, you got to take into all the measurements into account.
You don't need one measurement to prove the Earth is round. I don't care what the circumference of the Earth is. I can prove it's round just by simply mountains always appear peak first, and they always disappear peak last as you're driving towards or away from them. Yep. Skyscrapers do the same thing. Yep. That doesn't work on a flat Earth anytime.
Yep.
You don't need one instrument. You don't need one. All you need are your eyes. Yep. And you could take public transportation and do it on a train. So you don't even need to own a car.
Nixie, unfortunately, you're incorrect in your assessment there.
No, I'm not.
The reason why is a mountain will start disappearing from you in under 3 miles, yeah?
No,
And
I don't care the distance. I don't care the distance. I'm not making one distance claim whatsoever. I am making the claim that mountains always appear peak first when you're driving towards them and peak last when you're driving away from them. That is my only claim.
Yes, that I agree with that claim, and that is due to geometry and perspective.
No, it's due to the curvature of the Earth.
Okay.
100% of the time, because if it was anything else, the base would appear before the peak that's further away from you. Remember, the base is closer to you than the peak.
Okay, well, what about angular refraction? You're denying?
Well, you're using science now. You can't use refraction unless you explain how refraction works and how light works, and then create experiments. I don't need refraction to explain the curvature. Because you're making refraction make a base of a mountain closer to you disappear. That never happens. So you can't use science terms against science. You are going to have to use those science terms as refraction works. And what is the reflective index? And why would the reflective index matter something closer to you to appear?
You have no idea what you're talking about on that one.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Because all you heard was refraction.
No.
That's all.
What's the mathematical formula for refraction, and how does it differ depending on humidity?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
Okay, but
so you're using a scientific term that you can't recite, like how refraction works, and the humidity in the air changes because most refraction is caused by humidity, aka water, in the atmosphere.
Okay. Yeah.
By the way, that image that you were talking about was taken from in the Pyrenees Mountains. That's where the camera was, on a mountain, and you were able to see the top of the Alps, which is a very tall mountain range.
But I have never seen a video produced where you're driving towards a mountain or away from a mountain where the mountain base appears first, no matter how much humidity is in the air or the lack of humidity. Whether you're in the desert where there's no humidity and very low index of refraction, or in high humidity, it always appears peak first and is blocked by the ground, and it always appears as you're driving towards a mountain, peak first, base last. But the base is closer to you than the peak. That makes no sense on a flat Earth whatsoever.
Mic drop, 1, 2.
Yeah. That is a mic drop. I got to go get some work done. Thanks for letting me back in, Fiddle. And, when you can produce a video that's reproducible by other people where an entire mountain comes into view and then disappears, then let's talk about flat Earth. Until then, the horizon's blocking. I don't need the ocean to prove all this. Just drive away from a skyscraper or a mountain.
Fucking delusional.
You're the delusional one. Let's face it. Your cell phone was built by scientists. Your cell phone was built by scientists, and you're using it right now.
Oh God, is that cosmology of space? Wow, cosmology of space built my fucking iPhone. That's crazy. What a statement.
Well, without space physics, you wouldn't have one. So.
Dude, we had cell phones with radio towers, which they still run off of. So sure, bud. Like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I don't understand what Johnny's talking about.
The technology that is inside that we use in our cell phones is a direct result of the space race.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Explain how.
the ability to create the chips that were small enough to store the data so that we could have a phone that you could carry and walk around, the telecommunication abilities that we have these days is because of the space race. We needed them for space communications. And I'm not talking about a satellite phone. I'm talking about your cell phone. It's called a NASA spinoff.
Yo.
Yo.
Yeah, I also wanted to say we can thank NASA for CMOS. That's something that we all take advantage of pretty much every single day. If you've ever used a computer.
CMOS, the guy that went in the spaceship in Planet of the Apes.
It could have been.
It was CMOS. They said, "Oh, hail CMOS" in that film.
I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it was something similar, CMO or something.
No, it was CMOS. I remember it because CMOS is for the computers, for the motherboard.
Yeah, it stood for something.
Yeah, so the spaceship said CMOS on it, so therefore they thought the guy's name was CMOS, which is a little monkey that was in it. So
Well, apparently someone just shared this live with me. I joined before anyone sent it to me.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, let me make introductions. Globe Man, this is Fiddle. Fiddle, this is Globe Man.
Oh yeah, never met before. This is the first time.
Yeah, I don't even know you. I've never seen you before. Are you familiar with the Flat Earth movement?
Oh no, never heard of it. This is my first time.
okay. Globe Man, can you tell Fiddle how to make her screen so that one of her guests will be like the big screen?
I don't think I have the option.
No, everyone does it, just you have to press certain buttons.
Oh, by the way, Tyler, I made an improvement because the sun is now 1 million miles away. So now here's the new dome.
The golf balls are just stuck in there. They don't even spin anymore. They're just stuck.
Well, that's a technicality.
I'm still working on the glitches.
I've got Johnny working out the equations on how to get them to rotate.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I definitely need a scientist on it.
I might need an engineer. Riz could help.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think Jay could probably figure it out. Jay,
Dude,
do you know how to make a working flat Earth model yet?
Why are you starting off with belittling me, bro?
It's a question.
Yeah, I'm asking if you got a working flat Earth model.
Okay, I don't have funding.
Neither do I.
Okay, so what? It's a fallacious question. Why? What? Like, where?
You could get a paper route.
How's that a fallacious question? It's a yes or no question. Just do you or do you not?
I have a model of how I think it works, but no, we don't have a concrete model like you guys.
Could I see it?
Okay, well, man.
How much money do you guys think you need to make this working model?
I mean, 86 billion it would be okay.
$80 million.
Okay.
That much.
I mean, that's how much it is on the globe side to make this possible. So
I mean, Sal's over here doing it for free. So
Yeah, you could borrow my Frisbee. That'll save you some money.
Also, NASA didn't make the globe model, so I don't know why what they make matters.
what? Okay.
We're talking about people who literally were shitting in the dirt, and they figured it out with sticks.
So you would rather rely on 600 AD, like
Yes.
Okay.
Than nothing. I would prefer
is
something
Hercules
rather
real?
than nothing.
Is Hercules real too? Then
No, Hercules is a myth. Eratosthenes, whether or not he
okay.
existed, I don't even care. We can
Okay.
do the experiment they described, and it gives us the same result. The people shitting in dirt were able to figure it out, and you still
what
haven't.
happened with the 2,000 years after that?
People realized that the Earth was spherical, and they continued working off that. What do you mean?
No, is that the mainstream narrative, Tyler?
Yes, there was no point in the Dark Ages where flat earthers became relevant again. Never happened.
2,000 years? Oh, almost 2,500 years, actually.
Yes, we've known the Earth is a sphere for a long time.
Okay, but they all thought it was flat after your scientists made these notions.
No,
they were living in the dark ages as they were using trigonometry to build monuments.
No,
that sounds hilarious.
No, you're talking about pre-Socratic societies. Yes, they thought the Earth was flat. Sure.
No, I'm
talking about after.
No, I'm talking about directly after your scientists made this notion in 600 AD. For 2,000 years, the Earth thought that it was a flat disc with the river ocean surrounding it.
BC.
And by the way, I just want to point something out. People are saying that NASA gets 66 million a day with our fiscal year 2023 budget.
It's 80.
With our fiscal year 2023 budget, we're getting closer to $88.57 million a day. So thank you for paying your taxes.
Just for correction.
Yeah, we're getting more than you think.
Yeah,
Johnny's like my 2022 bonus proves it.
Can't wait for that audit and your pay cut.
You know what I can't wait for? You to finally make a flat Earth model. That'll be a fucking a monumental day.
Yeah. Everybody go to auditnasa.com.
Everyone go to jstilldoesn'thaveamodel.net.
It's all public.
Is it? Is it?
Yep,
You just made that fallacious ass statement, Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because that's not what the news is reporting.
What is
say exactly where the money goes. So.
But that they lose money all the time. It's not unaccounted for.
According to who?
What?
Don't get silent now. According to who?
I'm looking up a source
like
for
Fox
you, Globe Man.
News
Stop
something?
with your fucking boner tactic, bro.
Boner tactics. What do you mean?
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you. Look
You
it
have
up.
a hard
Thank
on.
you, thank
Like,
you.
hold on.
Hard on? I don't know, man. I don't think you're that cute. I mean, come on.
Well, just hold on, bro. I'm getting you your source.
Oh, come on. Even you had to laugh at that.
Well, I mean, we had a nice conversation the other day, dude, and it's just like, now you're just like, it's weird, bro. Like,
well, we had a nice conversation because we were both fighting against a racist. I'll gladly stand by your side for that, bro.
Yay,
Okay.
when flat earthers and Glovers can stand together.
When it comes to the shape of the Earth, though, no, we are
You guys
in
are so
completely
smug,
different
bro.
aisles.
It's fucking really
you're on
stupid to
opposite
be that
sides of the
smug
globe
when
with
you're
that
gonna be
one.
wrong.
What do you mean?
The enemy of my enemy.
Exactly. At least you can agree on something, right, guys?
And someone said it sounds like Jay doesn't love me today. I know. It's hurting my feelings. My feelers.
Right? Me too.
You want to find common ground?
I'm just
I'll
reading
give you
this
common
document
ground.
that you sent me. Told me to
No
look at.
one likes Mr. No Knowledge. He disavowed all flat earthers yesterday.
People in the comments, they're telling me I'm emotional. Yeah, it's my fault.
You know, you get so emotional, Tyler.
I know.
Riz, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I'm just currently looking at the document, which is how many pages currently? 38 pages. And because I'm such an advanced person, I can read them very fast and take in the information. And I can already debunk Nixie right now. Unfortunately, both the Egyptologists disagreed on what the translations for the stars were. So they had different translations for which star refers to which. They didn't know what the fuck they was doing. So flat earthers win.
Are you talking about Thuban that used to be the North Star?
They didn't know what they were doing, but you claim that they built the pyramids.
Okay.
Under these constellations, but you also don't believe that they knew what they were doing at all.
Okay. Let me just clarify. The ancient Egyptians
on a daily basis.
No, just 1 minute. Johnny's taking some misunderstanding
And
to
then
the
you want to use
information.
them as evidence. That's why I was laughing.
So who am I referring to as they don't know what they're doing, Johnny? Can you clarify?
You said the Egyptologists don't know what they're doing?
Yeah. So are the Egyptologists the guys who built the pyramids, or are they modern day people translating a language they don't understand?
Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm reading a document that your globe professor said proves that Polaris was not the North Star. But
can you tell us where in the document it states that? I haven't read it.
Okay, you can download it as well. Remember, it's a learning experience. But let me. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, there is another northern constellation common in celestial diagrams, which is difficult to identify because it is scarcely mentioned in any other type of astronomically related document. The constellation concerned, and it gives you a hieroglyph, the Scorpion goddess Serket or Selkis, which is also closely located to another Egyptian term. The lack of information is translated blah 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 etc. to Ursa Major and Polaris and etc etc. So what they're saying is they don't know where Polaris was. They didn't have enough astronomical data.
Just pause on that for a second. I've got Matthew here. He says he doesn't have a lot of time, but he'd like to come up and ask a couple questions. So would anyone, he's only going to come up for a moment, he said, but would anyone drop out for a moment? And then
I can drop out because I need to go have a cigarette break.
No, Riz, he wants to talk
too.
to you, so you need to stay.
Nah.
Well,
I can drop out. I've
need
been
space.
here.
no, Johnny, don't leave. I like my Spider-Man around here. And I want Tyler to stay as well.
If Johnny can stay, I'll dip out.
Whoever, I mean, I feel bad dropping people. I hate dropping people, but he said he only wants to ask a couple questions, so I mean, you know.
Okay. So for some of you naysayers, it says highly probable identifications of ancient Egyptian stars. So highly probable does not mean identification of Egyptian stars. It means it's their subjective view. I have debunked Nixie. I've debunked you Globers. You have failed.
No, you really have. You really haven't.
Except for one thing you forgot to take into account, right? The
Okay,
thing
you want to see the evidence?
flat earthers always say is, well, hold on. They mention how the south shaft of the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, would line up with Orion's belt. Yeah, that's fine. But they're always talking about how Orion's belt lines up with the.
Read this. Highly probable.
Yeah, I'm aware. I know you just said it. Sure, I know you just read it. That's why I was gonna say. Oh my God.
Hey, Riz.
I just wanted to finish.
Hey, Riz. I'm on a time crunch here. Would you mind if I kind of interrupt a little bit and shift slightly? We'll keep saying base topic of shape of Earth and everything, but I'm going to shift topic just slightly if you don't mind.
That's fine, Matthew, as long as you're extremely polite because you're on my time here. So go on.
No, I'm on Fiddle's time actually.
No, you're on my cigarette.
I'm the boss around here.
Yeah, I always give my time to the host. So
okay, go on.
I'm curious. I've given you a couple of months now since I've really asked you. You told me you were going to look into this and figure out how it works. Have you yet to figure out how HF communication systems work beyond line of sight, whereas no other RF communications can do so and require repeaters or satellites to continue communication?
What about ground wave propagation? Have you figured ground wave propagation out?
Oh, I know ground wave propagation. Ground wave propagation only works.
Okay, so how do you explain 200 miles cutting through 32 miles of curvature?
That's not ground wave propagation. That's sky wave propagation.
Oh, is it not? Huh. Weird.
Yeah, ground wave propagation ends when it reaches any sort of line of sight interference, such as buildings, mountains, trees, things such as that. I'm an HF technician, by the way. I've done this for decades. So good luck, man.
Okay, I'll
so have you figured out how HF communications has this? Because you know VHF communications has ground wave propagation too, right? So does EHF. So does SHF. In fact, every form of RF communication has ground wave propagation. Yet HF communication is the only one that has beyond line of sight communications.
Okay, so Matthew, just to clarify,
you knew my next point. What is that?
You mentioned this to me about 2-3 months ago, and it wasn't something that you highlighted.
You said you were going to look into it. Have you looked into it?
Yeah, I was generalizing. I didn't expect you to hold me to looking into it because I do get a lot of requests from Globers. So if it's something you want to look into,
it's strange when you say you're going to do something and you don't do it.
Well, currently, right now, I'm looking at this 38-page Egyptian document. Would you like me to learn about your...
Egyptian documents don't really do much.
No, I know. I've just debunked another Globy claim right now, so therefore, I'm more than happy to debunk your...
No, you didn't. But go ahead. Tell me what other geometric shape allows for a skywave propagation to give refraction off the ionosphere that allows for beyond line of sight communications with HF communication systems and does not allow it for any other.
Why would we need to do that when we could just use ground wave propagation?
It proves a globe.
Because again, ground wave propagation ends whenever it reaches any break in line of sight, such as buildings, trees, hills, mountains,
that's not
valleys.
What we're seeing, no.
Yes, it is. It is exactly what we are seeing.
Okay. All right.
So, just before I answer you, Matthew, Johnny, can you make sure you tell NASA that I'm very close to debunking their whole system? That once I get this Thuban issue sorted out, and I also confirm the pyramids of Saqqara, there's nothing more required to destroy the NASA agenda. Yep. So I will then be proving that NASA are completely wrong in every estimation that they've made. But Matthew, can you just clarify what frequency you're talking about in HF?
Between 3 and 30 megahertz. The
Can you tell
spectrum.
me okay, now I want you to tell me what is the frequency of cosmic background radiation?
What about 50 to 250?
That has nothing to do with HF communications. Why would we do a non sequitur like that?
No, this is not a non sequitur. Please, can you tell me?
It's an absolute non sequitur.
Okay, so I ask a question.
Cosmic microwave background radiation has nothing to do with intelligible communication over the HF spectrum using a carrier signal and actual intelligence. And we can receive that and know that a transmitter is transmitting and a receiver is receiving beyond line of sight where no other RF communication system can reach without the assistance of a repeater or satellite. How is that possible on a flat Earth model?
Okay,
and so what is the only shape that allows that?
A flat Earth.
No, it doesn't. Because on a flat Earth,
because it travels in a straight line.
Hey, stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Ghost, Jay,
from
whatever
3
the
to
hell
300 gigahertz.
Hey, stop. You are interrupting.
Yeah, we like
but
to
you're
do
being
one at a time
fallacious
around
and wrong.
here. I've already told you that.
You're interrupting.
One at a time.
So with every other,
well, dude, you've already stacked it against us. So like let us interject, Fiddle.
He hasn't finished. There's nothing to interject.
Yeah.
Your bias is showing. I get it.
When I'm answering a question and you speak over me, the answer no longer gets said.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I've got it now. I've got the answer for you, Matthew Clemmy.
We reach line of sight issues. We have a maximum distance that we can talk. So Matthew, you're going to interrupt here, Riz? You don't want to hear the answer to your own question?
No, I know the answer now.
Do you not want to hear the answer to your own question?
No, I know the answer to your...
because you haven't heard it yet. You cannot you cannot know my answer unless I actually give it to you.
No, you had a question that you asked me.
So every other frequency range with RF communications has line of sight issues and can only transmit to a specific distance. HF does not have these issues due to refraction and reflection off of the ionosphere, which allows the signal to bounce and propagate around a globe shape.
Okay. Are you ready for my answer?
Sure, let's hear it.
So your 3-month-long wait that you waited for me took me 30 seconds to read 2 lines to work out the answer, yeah? So basically, whereas most other frequencies, excluding microwave, bounce off the ionosphere, your friendly HF or 3 to 30 megahertz bounces off the troposphere. That's why it can go, and it's not affected by the ionosphere.
It bounces off very much. It bounces off the ionosphere, thank you very much.
No, the troposphere.
You are factually incorrect. The ionosphere.
Troposphere.
You are factually incorrect. Riz, you are factually incorrect. wherever you're getting that information from
Wow.
is not a very good source because it is wrong. I am an RF technician who works specifically with HF communication systems for 2 decades.
And
my entire job revolved around this.
I fully accept your
You are giving incorrect information and taking wrong information
okay
without being able to substantiate it.